It's not unique to have a movie speak about or into the current culture. Sometimes the commentaries are subtle, and other times they're really overt. The new French-Canadian Netflix dramedy, The Guide to the Perfect Family, addresses family, culture, and social belonging. Is it successful in its commentary? A Couple in Quebec deals with the pitfalls, pressures, and high expectations of raising kids in a society obsessed with success and social media image. We're treated to a barrage of parents questioning all the policies and procedures at a school in the opening sequence, where we watch the parents all talking over each other with the questions to a teacher who looks like she's just about ready to check out of the entire conversation. The questions and conversations are designed to make us chuckle and even wince because some are clearly ridiculous, but others, they hit right at home with grounded logic. We then meet the family we'll spend the rest of the hour and 42 minutes with. There's Rose, a teenager whose activity schedule just stressed me out completely. She goes from one activity to the next with just about every single minute packed with some sort of sport, extracurricular, or learning event. There's also Martin, the friendly-looking dad, who is also inadvertently pressuring Rose to succeed. And we can see that he means well, but is also oblivious to his behavior and the effect it has on his daughter. Marie Soleil is a sort of carefree spirit, but she's internally wound a bit too tight, just like Martin. She's obsessed with her Instagram and Facebook posts, which are humorous, but also may hit a little too close on the nose. She's Martin's girlfriend, and they have a child together named Mathis, who is just a little tyrant. There is a lot in this story that is designed to stress us out and even aggravate us. The behaviors of both parents and kids are frustrating and reliable, which I think is why it can be aggravating. The actors do a good job of crafting characters that feel relatable, whether as somebody we know or even with characteristics we can see in ourselves. At the core, the story depicts parents trying to figure out the best way to parent and communicate with their kids so that the children have the best potential for success. What's funny and sad is that most of the time the parents have forgotten what it felt like to be a teenager or young adult who's trying to find their own way. The conversations are well crafted and they resonate a lot of the time. And what helps to keep it engaging is the constant infusion of humor inside the script. Sometimes the dialogue is laugh out loud funny, but other times it's subtle and sarcastic, and it's designed to make us smirk or even cringe. There's a sweetness also in this story combined with the frustration that each character feels. We can see how each feels trapped at times, whether by situations, their decisions, or others' actions. And sometimes throughout the movie, the story felt choppy. I've been trying to pinpoint exactly why it felt this way. At times it was almost like there were many small vignettes that were strung together, even though most of the scenes flowed. There are some storylines that are offshoots of the main plot, which are designed to reinforce the mindset of some of our characters. And this mainly happens with Martin, and the side portions also work to create extra tension and conflict within his life. But even though they accomplish this, the sequences also feel like strange additions to the narrative. Also, because this has a commentary built into the story, there was a scene that I felt was a missed opportunity to show us how to respond in a situation. I'm not talking about show us in an after-school special or on this very special episode of Blossom sort of way, but there's a moment with Martin and Rose on a lake where they have a very emotional conversation. The scene gets explosive and then it fades to black and skips forward in time. The story had the chance to show us a conversation, even the beginnings of one, where the characters begin to try and solve something. Sure, this may have slightly tweaked a future conflict, but there was at least the opportunity to show in a small way how the characters were growing and attempting to connect more. From a filming standpoint, a lot of this is beautiful to look at, and the framings really help to draw our attention to the character's life and the mindset. There are several times where the scenes play out longer than we'd expect, in an effort to create discomfort, anxiety, or sometimes even joy. I'd say these are done well and they accomplish the goal because when a situation is made to go long and it's awkward, we feel the awkwardness and we get to experience some of the same feelings as the character. So for example, Martin is having a discussion with one of his subordinates at work. They're discussing work ethic and job performance. The conversation goes on for a few minutes with the camera alternating between Martin and the employee. Martin's frustration and even disbelief increase as the conversation continues, and I found myself shaking my head and sighing right along with Martin. Now I mentioned that this was a dramedy, and while there are comedic aspects, the drama certainly does not take a back seat here. There is a weightiness to the story and more than a few emotional moments. There's sadness, disappointment, frustration, and stress that work their way into the storyline, and I think the movie does a fairly good job of balancing the whole thing so that we don't go running for the razors, but the drama isn't overshadowed by the humor either. I found the ending to be a little strange and maybe slightly vague. A character is noticeably absent in the final shots, and while I can infer what it means, it could also be assumed to be a much sadder scenario based on an earlier conversation. So overall, the relationship aspects and commentary on parenting, social media, and expectations are addressed well, and even in an entertaining way. If you're looking for lighthearted family comedy, this isn't going to be the one to watch. There's melancholy combined with laughs, but it may be just too pointed for a casual escape from reality. The film is great to look at and the acting is done really well, with a good cast of characters that bring out different personality traits and quirks that will remind you of friends or family, and maybe even yourself. There's sex, brief nudity, a ton of profanity, and some violence. I give The Guide to the Perfect Family 3.5 out of 5 couches. So have you seen any decent dramedies lately? Let me know what you watched in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.